You don't have to be a computer whiz to run these. I mean, I think that's the main thing. I think that's what's so really nice about it, is that everything's kind of there. You can just run it. I don't have to create anything.
While the simulations are easy to run, there are a few useful tips to keep in mind as you prepare to use PhET sims with inquiry activities in K-12 classrooms. This video will discuss accessing the PhET sims, giving students access to PhET, using PhET sims with tablets, with a projector, and with interactive whiteboards. You can use any computer with a modern web browser to access the PhET simulations. You can run the simulations online or download them for offline use. If you have any trouble, check out our extensive help center, which includes tips for Mac, PC, and tablet.
I give the kids the web address. It's on the activity. I say, type this in and do it, and they'll go, do I run now or do I download? I go, you can just hit run and just run it right off the internet.
Our simulations are programmed in 3 languages, HTML5, Flash, and Java. While our HTML5 and Flash simulations run within the web browser, our Java-based simulations require Java to be installed before you run the simulation. When you click play on the simulation, a JNLP file will be downloaded. Open that JNLP file to run the simulation. That file points to the simulation on our server, so internet access is required. If you're going to be running the simulation offline, choose download instead.
If your internet isn't very reliable, you may want to come in beforehand and download them onto your computers, because if your internet goes down, then the kids are stuck.
You can download only the simulations that you want so that they're ready for students to use. Or you or your technology staff can also download and install the entire website.
Get the IT person to load the whole PhET website on the computers. At my school, if 30 kids try to log on and get to PhET at the same time, things just crash. And so I have it where they can just go to the sims they need, and that has been a big help for me.
You can also copy the simulations or the entire PhET website to a DVD or USB drive for installation without the student computers needing any internet access. Detailed instructions for running the sims offline are available on our website. For student activities with the simulations, you need some way for every student to interact with the simulation, using computers, laptops, or tablets. We recommend having 1 or 2 and no more than 3 students at a computer so that all students can see the screen and have plenty of opportunities to interact with the simulation.
Even when they're working alone, they end up talking to each other, so they end up working in groups anyway.
If you have a limited number of computers, there are ways to work around this. Advanced planning can be very helpful, especially if you need to reserve a lab or laptops.
And what I found is just kind of working, especially with my librarian, and say, this is what I'm really trying to get done. How can I get more computer lab time? And working far in advance so that I've already scheduled it. So I think thinking way far ahead and planning when you're going to use it is really important.
Getting set up can take a little time as well.
In an ideal world, I would go in and check every single computer and make sure the simulation ran on it. But what actually happens is usually my first class gets to troubleshoot for everybody else. And most of the time they run fine. It's no problem.
If you have trouble accessing any of the simulations, problems can usually be solved by making sure that you have the latest version of your web browser. Check out our troubleshooting page with instructions for both PC and Mac. There can also be delays during the lesson itself.
When you travel to the other lab, you turn on all the computers. It's going to take time. Connecting to the internet, if everybody hits at the same time. So just being patient and also helping your students be patient with that.
Many teachers find that after their first few simulation uses, they work out the kinks and there are fewer surprises. PhET is currently redesigning many of the simulations for use on tablets. All simulations labeled as HTML5 will run on tablets or other touchscreens, such as smartphones, as well as laptops and computers. When using PhET simulations with tablets, use the tablet in landscape mode. It's also useful to have the student tilt the tablet while using it by placing a book underneath. This helps keep the student's hands from covering as much of the screen. It also makes it easier for several students to view the simulation at one time. To project the simulation, simply connect your computer to a projector as you normally would. You may want to have the simulation downloaded and ready for use before you start projecting.
I think the smartboard along with the projector can be really helpful to make sure that the entire class is seeing the same thing. So if there's something that I really want to highlight, or if there's something that another student found that they want to share with the group, it's helpful to have the students turn their attention away from their individual computers for a moment and look up the smartboard.
Using PhET with interactive whiteboards provides opportunities for discussion and student demonstrations. Here are a few things to consider. First, it's easy to interact with all HTML5 simulations on an interactive whiteboard, since they were designed for use with a touch interface. Other PhET simulations may have features that can be difficult to grab. We suggest that teachers try using each simulation on the interactive whiteboard before classroom use, so that they can find any features that may be difficult to use in advance. For those simulations, students may need to make multiple attempts at grabbing the feature, use a different way to achieve the same action, or you can have the student use the mouse to control the simulation. You may also want to adjust your board to use more points during calibration. If the simulation seems to be running slowly, try closing other programs that may be open on your computer. Considering these technical tips can help you make the most out of your classroom time with PhET simulations.
The PhET simulations have been so meaningful in my classroom because it's really helped my students view science as, not just something that we do with beakers and hot plates and, these labs, but something that they can really dig into